welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I'm Nurse Alyssa, and today we're going to be talking about NU-DERM Alginate dressing. But first, if you could hit that like and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated as it does help my channel grow. So let's get started. So NU-DERM is a alginate sterile pad that is used to fill dead space in a wound. So just like any alginates, we want to make sure that we are using this in wounds that do have a moderate to large amount of exudate, okay? Because our number one thing we're always watching for is moisture balance in a wound, okay? We want a just moist wound, so we don't want to be drying it out by taking out too much moisture because the alginates do definitely absorb a lot of fluid, so we want to make sure that it does have a moderate to large amount of exudate when using any alginate. So alginates can be used for management of minor bleeds, okay? So if you have a bleed that's not stopping, you can put alginate over it and you can put multiple pads to get the bleeding to stop. Now I do say minor bleeds because if it's a really bad bleed, it's not going to stop anything, but your minor bleeds, skin tears, things like that, it will stop the bleeding. Precautions, so this is not intended to control heavy bleeding. Okay, so just your minor bleeds. Contraindications, so we're not going to use on any clients that have a sensitivity to alginates, and we're not going to be using this on third-degree burns or surgical implants, okay? Also, if there is any sort of device bone underneath the skin that you can see, you do not want to be using alginate because it will get stuck on there. So if there's anything in the wound base, you do not want to be using alginate in general. So to apply the alginate, just like any other wound, we always start by cleansing, irrigating the wound with normal saline or sterile water. You're going to pat dry the peri-wound, and you can apply a skin barrier if necessary. So if you have been noticing that the peri-wound does have maceration, we want to use a skin barrier to protect that skin from further breakdown. Okay, so to apply, we're going to choose the appropriate size dressing. So whether it is the square pad or the ribbon, depending on what you need it for. So you just want to choose the appropriate dressing to fill that dead space. It can be cut to fit. And it can also be folded and stacked on top of each other for multiple layers, just for extra absorption. For packing, so anytime we pack a wound, we want to make sure that we are packing it, like fluffing it in there. We're not packing it tight. It just needs to be fluffed in there gently, where it's just touching everywhere, but not packed in. So just lightly fluffed into the wound bed. And make sure that you leave a tail so that the ribbon can easily be removed. And then you're just going to apply your appropriate cover dressing to maintain a balanced, moisture balanced wound, okay? So to remove this dressing, you will notice that it does turn into a gel-like pad. So to gently remove this, you can either just use forceps. If it's not really coming out, just irrigate it until you get all those fibers out, okay? You want to make sure to get all those fibers out. And your expected outcome is that your exudate is managed with no peri-wound maceration, or if you're using it for bleeding, that the bleeding is managed. Now this dressing can be left in place for up to 7 days, okay? And I did include the different formats that you can get it in here. So there's all these different sizes, and those are like square sheets or rectangle, and then they have the ribbon, so it's the long ribbon for packing, and this all can be cut, so just pick the appropriate size. That's all I have for this video on NU-DERM Alginate. I hope you did find it helpful. And if you haven't done so already, if you could hit that subscribe button, it would mean the world to me. I'll catch you in my next video, guys. See ya.